Come along with Travelin Mike to Europe. This is probably one of the prettiest cemeteries I've seen, and it's located in Nuremberg, Germany. Germany has such beautiful cemeteries, they look like gardens. And this one's located in Mittenwald, Germany. And this is a view from our Airbnb in Fussen, Germany. While visiting Bruges in Belgium, we stopped by this cemetery. Here's some headstones in the churchyard in Ely, England. And if you're important enough, you can be buried inside the church. Not far from Juliet's balcony in Verona, Italy, is this wealthy Italian's family cemetery. Or you might want to have your casket hanging on the wall of the chapel. While traveling throughout Europe, you'll come across many World War II cemeteries. This one's in Dernbach, Germany, and is mostly British and American soldiers. This cemetery overlooks the Hallstatter Sea in Hallstatt, Austria. Also, it contains an ossuary or a bone chapel. The family hand paints the skull of their loved one, and then it's placed in the ossuary. The skulls on top of the books or the Bibles, those are priests. We visited this large cemetery while we were staying in Regensburg, Germany. This family has a memorial to several of their members that were killed in Auschwitz. This Catholic cemetery, which is also in Regensburg, has a large World War II section. While traveling through Slovenia, we stopped at this hillside cemetery. And then on our way back into Italy, we stopped in Trieste at this small cemetery. This is a typical Italian cemetery. Cemetery plots in Europe are generally leased to the family, and when there's no longer any family to take care of it, then they just remove your headstone, place it against the wall, and rent it to someone else. While visiting the old town of Salzburg, Austria, you can find this little cemetery tucked in just under the funicular. It has pretty cool looking iron crosses for headstone markers. And just across the river from the old town of Salzburg is another little churchyard that has Mozart's widow in it. This is a pretty cool church with a surrounding cemetery that's in Grading, Austria, just right outside of Salzburg. It's common in churches throughout Europe that they have skeletons in glass cases. Generally, the bones are from plague victims that are donated to the church by wealthy patrons. Then they're made saints and adorned with jewels. Here is another typical Italian cemetery. This time, this one's in Aviano, Italy. These are Stolpersteine, or stumbling stones, and they're placed on the ground in front of the last known residence of victims of the Holocaust, and it's in towns all throughout Europe you can find these. Hope you enjoyed your trip through Europe. Like and subscribe. Thanks.